So
And
I want to
then,
go back to something too, because you said something about, shooting a gun is just the task I'm doing. It's just like washing dishes or whatever. I wanted to clarify that just a little bit in the way that I'm interpreting that, and let me know if, if I'm off here. But how I interpret that is you're saying that if you're not under any stress at all, like if you're on your best day at the range, let's say by yourself, there's no like pressure on you, undue pressure anyway, and you're performing this task well, you've already proven to yourself that you know how to do this task. It's not the task when you're under pressure that's the problem, because you've proven over and over and over and over again that you know how to do the task. So the only other thing it could be is the mental hangup. And I have to pull the book out because everything you're saying ties back to this book with winning in mind. If you guys haven't read this book, you should. Lanny Basham with Winning in Mind. And that's where you start deep diving into the mental management process that he talks about in this book. And I think, isn't that kind of where you were going with that, in trying to separate the task from the mental management? And it's really the mental management where people get hung up. It's not the task itself usually. Once you've got it down, then you have to start working on the mental aspect of it. So, such good stuff. I love this
yeah,
stuff.
yeah, it's so with anything, I think, and I've tried over the years just a myriad of ways to kind of frame it in my mind, but
Mhm.
uh, a good way I found it, and again, I'm not advocating this. This is just an analogy, but like someone learning how to drive, how
Mhm.
mentally taxing that is.
Mhm.
And then later on in life, when that is a task that is so burned in or ingrained in your ability to do it, someone can go from point A to point B and not even really understand how they got to point B. They just got there. They're
Mhm.
thinking about paying their taxes. Who knows? Not advocating, not paying attention while you're driving, but it happens. And it's much like any other endeavor. Once you learn the mechanical aspect of it, what's left? And you're absolutely right. You're spot on how you kind of rephrased it. But if you have done this, whatever it is, 100 times, 1,000 times, 8,000 times, and the only time you struggle with it, barring the outliers of anything that happens,
Mhm.
but the law of averages says, not everything will be perfect every time. But if the only time you truly struggle is when you feel that there's either some external force or some internal force that you cannot control,
Mhm.
where do we apply the correction? And
Right.
and really what happens a lot of times, especially in firearms, the correction applied is grip gun harder,
Mhm.
pull trigger
The
better.
physical.
And
Yeah.
that's not, in my opinion, where the majority of the answers lie. Now, sound coaching practice says certainly any adversity related to the mechanical needs to be addressed,
Mhm.
but not in replacement of the other side of the spectrum, where that's really where I believe high end, performance lies.
Right.